Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokasankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः So last class we studied about the concept of guru in our tradition, the importance of a person whom we call guru, and we said because of the nature of the subject matter, which is so unique from every other subject. Every other subject we have studied comes under the category of what we call aparavidya, and this one we are talking about is paravidya. So the orientation that we have developed over time in all our studies, in our pursuits, is so different from the type of pursuit this comes under nivritti, paravidya, and so there is a need for a teacher whom we call guru. In fact, the word guru, the way we understand it, does not have an equivalent in English. And so if you look at the English dictionary, you will find the word guru listed. Long ago, I remember seeing it in the Webster's dictionary or something. And that is good because rather than come up with a translation where there is none, might as well use that same word in Sanskrit. So I think it is correct to say that today there is a word in the English vocabulary called guru, whose origin is traced to Sanskrit. So we talked about guru. We did not complete the discussion. We were talking about one verse in the Mundaka Upanishad, which talks about how this person who discovers the need to discover the truth, to discover oneself, we can say that, is told Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Gurum Abhigachet. So may this person seek a guru, and not any kind of guru, one who is a Shrotriya, who is knowledgeable in the scriptures, and Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishtam, one Nishtha. Nishtha means a steadfastness. a committed pursuit of something. It's called nishtha. So, so many people are committed to a lot of pursuits. I remember a friend at one time when I was in doing my graduate school, he got interested in photography. So he bought a camera, and the minute he leaves college, he will be taking pictures, and his mind is always looking at the world as something to be pictured. So very good. He took courses in photography, and he knew a lot about various types of cameras. And he used to tell me this and that, and this lens and that lens, and all these things he used to talk about. So he committed pursuit. So here also, in a way, you can say committed pursuit, but steadfast in the shastram. Such a person is called Brahmanishta. So Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Gurum Abhigechet. We saw that. So that Shrotriya, that Guru, therefore, if we can list a couple of points who that Guru can be, he or she must be well informed, Shrotriyam, must have the ability to communicate, critical, even secular subjects, the subjects we have learnt in school and college, communication is so critical. And so what to talk about this subject of Vedanta? So second point is ability to communicate. Third point is there cannot be another pursuit for this person who is committed to teaching and studying, running a big business. I want to be a CEO, and I also want to be a teacher of Vedanta. So generally it doesn't work. Generally it doesn't work. Because again of the nature of the subject matter. And if somebody wants to run a business on the side, the teaching itself says that there is no, Atma is essentially secure. I am essentially secure. So that person, we don't expect that person to have these kinds of pursuits, because these pursuits imply a search for security. I'm doing this thing or that thing to earn some money. Money is very much needed. Some little amount of money is needed to lead a basic, simple living. But beyond that, generally the search for artha will not be there for such a person. So third point is that person has no other pursuit. Must be will likely or can qualify to be a guru. And what about the Shishya? We talk so much about teacher. What about the Shishya? What about the student? What should be the qualifications of a student? So we will study about qualifications of a student later in more detail. Tattvabodha has that. But here, the student's attitude is described. So I'm ready to serve this teacher, he or she, because the subject matter is so important to me that I have to understand, and I know that this person has the goods. This person will deliver the goods, and so I'm ready to serve. No distance is too far for me, and no job is insignificant. I will do what it takes, and that's the kind of attitude that a shishya has towards a teacher, towards a guru. When these two things meet, when a person with the qualifications we described of a guru and a person with the qualifications we talked of a shishya, when they meet, then Swamiji uses the word then teaching will begin, and teaching has to take place. Nobody can stop teaching from occurring. Nobody can stop the learning from occurring. Okay. So this should be sufficient introduction for us uh, to understand the teacher-student relationship, etc. So during the teaching, the benefit of doubt is given to the teacher, because the subject matter is nirgunam, attributeless. The subject matter is all pervasive. Sarva Vyapitvam is talked about. And sometimes we'll find contradictory things. The Shastra will say, Yan manasana manute, that which is not grasped by the mind. And yet we are sitting here, the minds are very much active. The teacher's mind is active. The student's mind is very much active. Without using the mind, there is absolutely no way of grasping. So apparently contradictory messages constantly coming at us. So therefore, questions will arise, and until the matter is clear, well, the benefit of doubt has to be given to the teacher. So, Tadvidhi pranipatena, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, pariprashnena sevaya. So, may you know this subject pranipatena sevaya, by having this attitude of seva, service, and by an attitude of giving reverence, pranipatena, and then pariprashnena. Pariprashnena. See, beautiful. Krishna brings in this also. He says you should have the attitude of seva, but at the same time you ask questions, because doubts will be there. So where we said earlier, where there is a matter to be understood, questions will be there. Where there is something to be believed, then there won't be questions, or there is no need for questions. So pariprashnena, but Krishna says paritaha. So ask questions not for the sake of asking questions, but at the right time, at the right place, with the right attitude. So pariprashnena sevaya, very beautiful, very apt for this subject, for any subject for that matter. I think it is very appropriate. So the teaching cannot be exploratory. I noticed in many schools these days, even when I was teaching children in Houston, I used to notice something. Once the internet started coming, internet became a big thing. Everybody could access the internet, search the internet for stuff. The teacher used to assign a lot of so-called projects and go study this, and internet is always available. So it's somewhat of a dangerous thing, because the internet has all kinds of things, and internet doesn't come with the label that this message is right. This what's being described in this web page is right. Doesn't come with that. So there is a lot of copy paste happening, and so I used to be concerned about that, because the job of the teacher is to teach, is to unfold the subject matter. Teacher cannot say, go look up the internet and find out. That is not acceptable. So the teaching cannot be exploratory. That is the point I was trying to say. Exploratory, yeah, we are all exploring, that is fine. We can use the word explore. But the teacher can't say, let us all explore together. Let me also explore because even I am not good at this subject. I want to become good at this subject. So I will explore along with you. A person who says this, you have to watch out. Hey, I am exploring, okay, I'm confused. Fine. I'm coming to somebody and that somebody cannot be confused. A confused person cannot clarify the doubts of another confused person. I remember long ago, uh, when I got interested in Vedanta and I was listening to Swamiji, I suddenly said, I must learn Sanskrit. And so I wanted a teacher. So I looked around, I called and all that. Somebody said, yeah, there is this Acharya ji. He will teach. So I long drive, I went and met him. And he said, Aapka naam kya hai? I told myself, Betiye, Betiye. So he gave me so much respect and I was feeling so uncomfortable. I am the one who should be giving him respect. And and he said, oh, I'm very happy you are interested in Sanskrit. I'm also very interested in Sanskrit. And yes, I will teach you. And we can all learn together. He started talking like this. And something told me the way he was talking, I came to the wrong place. Because, when you come, okay, what level are you? Do you know how to read and write Sanskritam? These are the questions the teacher will ask. Have you studied sometime before? Have you studied in school or college? Which books have you studied? These are the questions. So the teacher can figure out where is the student? So where can I start from? That is the way the teacher should be thinking. So no such discussion happened. So this I am learning along with you business is a bit risky business. So this guru cannot explore like that. And so speculation and all that stuff has to be, a teacher cannot do those kinds of things. Because the subject matter is the self, the subject matter is about freedom. And it is not like mountain climbing where we are all jointly exploring and shall we go this way or shall we go that way? Not acceptable. So perhaps it can be like these people who climb the Mount Everest, and they always have this Nepalese with them who climbed it all the way up, and they say this who is this who climbed Mount Everest first? Uh, uh,
Tenzing Norgay?
Tenzing,
Tenzing
Tenzing,
Norgay.
Sherpa Tenzing, I remember. So at least Sherpa's name they have taken. Okay, that is better rather than giving some Western person's name. Like Columbus discovered America. Hey, people were there before Columbus came to that place. So we need somebody who can guide, who knows it, and so that we need to keep in mind because this is not something where we keep swallowing all the words that come to us. We have to follow. Swamiji says we have to follow. We should not swallow. Very important. Very important. And so that's what attracted me to the subject matter also. So just a reminder about this subject matter. We are coming close to the discussion, the introduction to Vedanta that I wanted to give. So two types of subject matter again. In all our life, we have wanted to learn things, we have wanted to accomplish things, and we have accomplished many things. So in all these pursuits, what we want to accomplish is at the moment not accomplished. So take a simple pursuit. I'm hungry and I want to have a meal. So cooking has to take place. Ingredients have to be there. I have to collect the ingredients, cut the vegetables, prepare the stove, and start cooking. And after spending some time, using the knowledge I have, I create one or two or three dishes. And then the food is ready for me to consume. So food is needed. Food is not there. Food has to be prepared. I want to buy this book, Tattvabodha book. I don't have the book. I've been told that the book is available here and there. So I have to buy. After some time, I will have the book. I want to get a PhD. Yes. Long journey. It's not, can't go to the store and buy a PhD. So you discuss with people and decide what subject you want to be a PhD in. Join a university, enroll, do your research, and after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you can get a PhD degree. So effort, time. Or I want to go to a place. I want to go to Kanyakumari. Never been there. So yeah, sure, no problem. How do you want to go? By flight, by car, by bus, whatever, go. Effort is there, time is to be given, and there is a place I have to go to. Something that is not accomplished now, something that will be accomplished later. Everything we have done in our life so far falls in this category. Accomplishing what is not yet accomplished. In Sanskrit, this is called Sadhya Vishaya. Sadhya Vishaya. Sadhya Vishaya means Sadhayitum Yogyaha. What is qualified to be accomplished is called Sadhya Vishaya. Something, yeah, you can accomplish it. Maybe easy, maybe difficult, may take time. Maybe I'm too young for it. All that can be said, but yeah, accomplishable. The other type of topic is called Siddha Vishaya. We talked about it before also, not new to you now. Accomplishing what is already accomplished. Accomplishing what is already accomplished. And so we have given the example of this person wearing glasses, person who has glasses, who is searching for his glasses. Classic example of accomplishing what is already accomplished. A very legitimate search. We should not dismiss this search. I think by now you have recognized that this search is also a legitimate search. When I don't know what I have, that is also enough to make me search for that thing which I have. Okay. So suppose you say, no, wait a minute. I already have my glasses. So, okay, there is some search, but there's really no search. So glasses are already there. But I will ask the question. Glasses are there. But did it create a pursuit? Yes. What is the assumption made by the person before the pursuit? The assumption is, I don't have glasses. Is the assumption, no, I want to waste some time. Let me act as though I don't have glasses. I don't have nothing else to do. Is that the attitude? No. The attitude is, I'm absolutely certain that I don't have glasses. And so the pursuit starts. What about all the anxiety that comes along with it? What about all the anger that comes? What about all the shouting I do at all the people around me? What about all the phone calls I make? Everything comes, it's a package deal. The entire package comes. And so, this pursuit, Vedanta recognizes this as the pursuit. And it gives us the clue that perhaps this, this security and pleasure, artha and kama I'm seeking, the moksha that I'm seeking, also comes in the same category of siddha vishaya. So remember siddha vishaya. So Vedanta becomes a process of unfolding what already is there. And so we talked about removal of ignorance. So sadhya vishaya, siddha vishaya. Sadhya vishaya accomplishing what is not yet accomplished. Siddha vishaya accomplishing what is already accomplished. And that can happen only when there is ignorance. Ignorance is what separates me, the seeker, from what is being sought, what is already accomplished. I don't know that it's already accomplished. So in Sadhya Vishaya, actions are needed. Effort is to be expended. Options will be there. Cooking is to be done. Options, immediately options. Who is going to cook today? Suppose there are two adults at home. Both are working. Both are busy. So no, there is no rule that one person should do the cooking. So who can you do? I'm busy today. Can you? Okay, I will do that. Okay, who will do the cooking? What are you going to cook? Yeah, that has to be decided. Should it be simple or elaborate? That has to be decided. Weekend means little more elaborate. Weekday means little abbreviated. That has to be decided. How to cook. Everything has its options. So in anything to be accomplished that's not accomplished, options will be there. When action is involved, options will be involved. Now if we look at Siddha Vishaya, accomplishing what is to be accomplished, will there be options? What type of pursuit that is? So in Sadhya Vishaya, options are there. Your free will you're going to be using. Free will be used to make all these decisions, to make the effort. Very much free will be used. But in knowledge, we need to see how much free will can be used. So I am holding something in my hand. So earlier I said, this is an exercise ball. We'll use the same example. Suppose I show this ball and tell you, this is a pomegranate. Or better example. This is an orange. This is an orange. And or maybe this, maybe there are red oranges. I've not seen red oranges. I've seen only yellow oranges. Maybe some greenish oranges. But let's say there are no red oranges. So I say this is a red orange. Then you may have some doubt. And because the class is such, you know, I don't know, maybe in Coimbatore or there are they sell red oranges. You can give me a benefit of doubt. No, I make it clear this time. I say this one. I say this is a cell phone. Just to give a modern example. I say this is a cell phone. What I'm holding in my hand is a cell phone. Now, now what you will do is, if I'm very serious about it, this is, I make it even clear. This is an Apple iPhone. This is an Apple iPhone. I say, I make it very clear. Because now you may be doubting, wait a minute, did I not hear properly? What did Jayakumarji say? So when you say, did I not hear it properly? What did he say? You're giving me a benefit of doubt. You're giving me a benefit of doubt because so far everything has been clear and Jayakumarji has been making reasonable sense. All this has been there. So that is enough for you to give me a benefit of doubt. Maybe I didn't hear properly. Then I make it crystal clear. This is an Apple iPhone. And that's of course a cell phone. It's a smartphone. Then you have to, you will start wondering, my God, what happened? What happened? So far he was making sense. All these days and weeks he was making sense. Now something, kya ho gaya? Kuch short circuit ho gaya kya? This kind of doubts you will start entertaining. But I will ask you, you have free will. You have free will, which allows you to do so many things differently, creatively. You're using this free will to make decisions every minute of the day. I ask you, why don't you use that free will to let this be an iPhone? Why don't you use that free will to let this be an iPhone? You can't. You can't do that. You can't do that because that this is what this object is decided not by the perceiver of the object. It is decided by the object. So in Sanskrit, we have a beautiful word for it. In Vedanta, it's called Vastu Tantram. Vastu Tantram. Vastu Tantram means that knowledge of what this object is centered on the object. So we might say, but this is very obvious. Yeah, sometimes Vedanta has to talk about obvious things also. And so what the object is decided by the object alone. The perceiver, the being, the conscious being observing the object cannot decide what the object is. Despite all the free will we have, despite all the power we have, we are subject to the laws decided by this little object. This guy decides who he is, who she is. We have no power of what this object can be. Unlike karma, when it comes to action, the person decides what to do, how to do, when to do. Suppose I say, please clap your hands. Please clap your hands. Yeah. So there it is. I said, please clap your hands. So only one person, two people decided to clap. Only two people decided to clap. Everybody else, something else was going on in their mind perhaps. What is this serious? Should I clap? Should I not clap? Free will. Look at the free will working. And some of you decided to clap. Some of you decided, no, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Free will. You can decide to clap. You can decide not to clap. You can decide to clap like this. You can decide to clap like this. You can decide to clap like this. You can decide to clap in any number of ways. Free will. Completely centered on you, the conscious human being. This is called Purusha Tantram. This is called Purusha Tantram. So, action is Purusha Tantram. Action is centered on the being, human being. Knowledge is centered on the object. Now, why are we talking about this? Purusha Tantram and Vastu Tantram. When we talk about knowledge of something, I cannot decide what that knowledge is going to be. However much I like something to be something else, not possible. I'm walking in the railway station, and there are a lot of people. I've gone there to receive somebody, and suddenly I saw somebody. Hey, this good friend I've not met in almost 1 year, same city, and I tap on his shoulder. I tap on his shoulder and say, "Hey, Vikram," and he turns around, and he's not Vikram, and I apologize. I say, "Oh, நீங்க விக்ரம் நினைச்சிட்டேன், friend நினைச்சிட்டேன். I thought you were my friend." I thought he was Vikram, but that is not enough for him to be Vikram. He must really be Vikram. And that Vikram that I thought him to be, that Vikram who is Jaykumar's friend of so many 30 years ago, and that Vikram who lives in Coimbatore, that Vikram, he was not. So I accept who he is, she is. I don't tell him, why are you not my friend Vikram? You should be my friend Vikram because I thought I saw you. Now you are not. I can't make these kinds of statements. So, Vastu Tantram. And so when I study the Shastram talks about Atma, and Atma will have to reveal itself, and I must allow that to happen. I can't decide what Atma is before coming into this subject. This is why they say don't come with any preconceived notions and all that. Because any notion that I have will block my understanding. And so let that knowledge take place. Let the vision be unfolded. The other point we want to make is I have eyes, a means of knowledge, and there is an object that is placed in front of my eyes. I have a means of knowledge that I'm operating right now. Let's say the pair of eyes, and there is an object that the means of knowledge has fallen upon, that the pramanam has fallen upon. And suppose I say, keep your eyes open, be alert, don't see what I am showing you. Do not see what I am showing you. Okay? Please do not see what I am showing you. Can you oblige me? Can you oblige me? There is a question. Can you be alert? Can you have your eyes open? Your eyes are functioning properly, reasonably well, and there is an object in front of you. Can you say, I don't see the object? You can't say that. You can't say that. Because, again, I can say, why don't you use your free will to not see the object? Free will doesn't work here. You see, amazing how free will doesn't work here. When the object of knowledge is there, when the means of knowledge is there, operating, and let's bring the mind also, because it is possible that I am looking at things, but if my mind is elsewhere, then yes, we are not observing something and we are not hearing something. But what? Say that again. Say that again. What did you say? It happens because for a second our mind was elsewhere. So let the mind be there, the means of knowledge is there, and the object which is to be perceived, which is this object of discussion, is also there. When these things are there, when the when the prameyam is there, when the pramanam is there, when the pramata is there, the knower is there. When they all are there, prama, knowledge has to take place. Nobody can stop that from happening. Okay? So that's the point we want to communicate. That no amount of free will can stop that knowledge from taking place. So these are all important to appreciate. And as we appreciate these things, we gain some insights into this knowledge, and we allow this knowledge to take place. And so it's a process. Okay, the object is there and I don't see it. Atma is being talked about, but I don't follow. That is fine. So questioning is there, doubts will be there, answers will have to be sought, and clarity. So Vedanta is nothing but a journey of deconditioning. I have to say deconditioning because I am conditioned to think of myself in so many ways, which are all limiting. Anything I say, who are you? If I ask and if I get the answer, I am dash, dash, dash. Anything I say is going to be limiting. So I have been conditioned to think like that. And so that process, we can say, is a deconditioning process. And once the deconditioning keeps happening along the way, and doubts are also cleared along the way. So this is the process that has been preserved in our tradition, and a process that every good teacher will encourage questioning. Somebody who has a lot of doubts about any particular subject can be afraid of facing questions. And somebody who is clear will generally not be afraid of questions, will be happy to clarify. Sometimes when the answer is not clear, the person will accept. Yeah, that's a good question. We need to find out the answer. I will find out and let me know. That's a valid response. But that's a beautiful response because the channels of learning are continue to be open. Why are you asking this question? You must be stupid. These kinds of statements have no place in Vedanta, no place in any subject matter for that matter. So here definitely we don't have a place for that. So pariprashnena. So Krishna brings that concept out in the Bhagavad Gita also. So I want to conclude that introduction to Vedanta now in this class itself. So perhaps what we should do is summarize what are the topics we studied. A typical study of Vedanta starts with an inquiry into human pursuits. So we studied Purusharthas first, if you recall. Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. In that order we studied. We appreciated Artha and Kama. And then Dharma, of course, is there, which is unique for a human being. Dharma is not there for an animal. Artha and Kama are there for the animal. But Dharma and Moksha being unique to the human being, we began to understand what these are. When we looked at security, Artha, and we asked the question, can any object be a source of security for me, for an individual? Can an insecure I be made secure by an object which also is finite? Does this object have the ability to provide me lasting security? We asked the question. We asked a similar question about Kama, pleasure, and we found that pleasure also was fleeting, like security. Fleeting means coming and going. Apparently happy now, sad now. Feel secure now, feel vulnerable now. How come? So we made this analysis and we said, therefore, we need to look at ourselves. My 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 outlook has always been extroverted. Extrovert may or may not be the right word, but my outlook has been looking outward and searching for my security. And so now, with that analysis, it helps me say, okay, perhaps I need to look into myself. I need to look into myself to understand myself better. And so we said, all along I've been saying, I lack this, I don't have that, I need that, I really miss this. Like this, I've been leading my life. I want that. Then we said, instead of saying, I lack this, perhaps we need to look into the statement, I lack. I lack. And so we talked about all the seeking that we do, whether is it for the sake of the object or is it for my own sake. So we talked about the famous Vakyam statement from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where Yajnavalkya gives an introduction to Maitreyi, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Whatever you seek is for your own sake finally. And that's a revelation that helps us appreciate that finally I am doing things for my sake. And therefore, all fingers are pointing to me. And when all fingers are pointing to me, I must look into that me. Why am I like that? So then we explored this topic of moksha, began to understand. And we said that perhaps the only solution to this seeking is that I, my nature is already muktaha, my nature is already secure. I am the essence of security. I am the essence of ananda. I, that I can never be a victim of anything. That I need to discover. That I cannot be this body. This body, of course, is comes and goes. We are not talking about this body. There is something other than the body. I am the guy who objectifies this body, like I objectify everything else in this world. This body also I objectify. So how can I be that which I objectify? So I cannot be this body, even though the body is very much I. The I cannot be the body. Like this, we introduced this topic. And we said that this vidya, it actually comes under the category of vidya. It is not a belief. It has to be a fact which I must understand. It cannot be a belief, because a belief, no matter how useful it is for me, can be proved wrong. Can be proved wrong. And something that isn't true cannot liberate, cannot be a solution to my problems. Okay, this is the conviction I have now as I study this topic of Vedanta. And we also said that seeking moksha does not mean freedom from artha and kama. Freedom from artha and kama means artha is there. The sharira, the body needs some security. The body needs, for the body to survive, it needs food. It needs certain basic requirements. So those requirements cannot be eliminated. Vedanta doesn't promise, hey, if you study Vedanta, your pocket will always be full. Your empty pocket will become full. If you study Vedanta, you will never be hungry anymore. These kinds of funny statements Vedanta doesn't make. Because Vedanta is not concerned with the body. It is concerned with that which objectifies the body. It's concerned with the conscious being. And so everything else remains the way it is. Except that I am able to see things as they are, including myself, including Ishvara, including the whole world, Jagat, of which this body is a part of. I am also part of this Jagat. So therefore, the journey has now become what? I am seeking security, artha. Then I discover that these objects do not really give me the security I am seeking. Then I discover that security is coming and going. And so then, thanks to Vedanta, I am able to see that perhaps the possibility is that I am secure. And then, if I am secure, why am I like this? If I am an embodiment of Ananda, why am I sad? Why am I frustrated? Why do I feel so insecure? So then, Shastra brings in ignorance. When I do not know a fact that a fact of what is true, maybe that's not the right statement. If I do not know a fact about myself, then it is as good as my being who I think myself to be. Okay? My being who I think myself to be. Like I see a snake out there. I see a snake out there. Somebody tells me it's a rope. Until somebody tells me it's a rope, I take it as a snake. I see the object only the way I see it, not what the object is trying to tell me what it is. So my response is going to be, it's a snake. Come on, let's run. Let's get a stick. Let's move away from here. That's going to be my response. So my response is based on what I think the object is. Therefore, my response, if I think myself to be a limited mortal being, somehow there is something wired into me that says, I don't want to die. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to hurt. That seems to be natural to all human beings. Something is not right. This something is not right is always there. And so when that search happens, Shastram says there must be a solution to that search. And that solution, Advaita Vedanta says, it is Ajnana Nivritti. It is the removal of Ajnanam. So this we studied about this Atma Vidya, and we said that is moksha. And then we talked about okay, then how do you get to know this? And we introduced the topic of pramanam, means of knowledge. Because this is not like any other subject matter. This is not like learning how to cook. At one time, I was the president of an India Student Association at a university, and some we had a smart idea. Oh, we Indians need to learn how to cook. So I conducted cooking classes. I did not conduct, I organized cooking classes. Somebody else conducted the classes. I organized cooking classes. I have good memories of that. So, there, the cooking class doesn't start with you are observing the cauliflower in my hand. We have five sense organs. Like this, the teacher doesn't start. Then everybody will run away and they said, what is this? We've come to the wrong place. So they start about wonderful stories about cooking and sambar and rasam and chole and this and that. And today, in today's class, we're going to show you how to make baingan bharta. And everybody is eager and they're all making notes and all that. So that's how the classes start. But Vedanta doesn't start like that. Start with some boring questions about pramanam and things like that. So, but that's because that's the nature of the subject. And we need to look at it because when the topic is to be understood, then can I understand it with the means of knowledge I am endowed with already? The five sense organs, we talked about perception, pratyaksham and anumanam, inference. Then Shastram says, no, these two are not enough. And so you need another means of knowledge called Shabda Pramana, called the Vedas. And we said the Vedas are like a mirror of words which reveal to me who I am. Some external help is needed to tell this person, that, hey, what you're searching for, your search is illegitimate. You're searching for what you already have. So like that, the words are sufficient to reveal who I am. So that's why this Shabda Pramanam is so prized in our Shastram, so praised in our Shastram, Shabda Pramanam. And along the way, we introduced the Vedas a little bit. Vedas are a collection of mantras which have been seen by our rishis. And so our rishis always called themselves as mantra drashtas. Drashta means seer. And mantra, a seer of a mantra, not a creator of a mantra, not an author of a mantra. So they didn't call themselves mantra karta. They call themselves mantra drashta. Drashta means the mantra is already there. It just, we got tuned to it and we saw it. Like that they used to tell. Which makes perfect sense because, really speaking, if you look, no knowledge is ever created by a human being. When I first heard this, I found this to be amazing because, science is advancing. Scientists are working so hard. Money is being poured into research. Medical science is advancing so much. Knowledge is constantly being created, is it not? Then we say knowledge is never created. Knowledge is always there. It is there for us to discover it. This mind doesn't know that this particular disease is caused by a bacteria. It doesn't know because its knowledge currently is limited. It doesn't know that that bacteria can be countered by another chemical called antibiotic. It doesn't know all that. It takes time to come to that point. The bacteria was always there. It was always living. It was always creating the disease in human beings. So how can we say scientist X discovered this bacteria, invented this bacteria? We can't say that. The antibiotic was also there. It was being produced naturally. That's how this Fleming saw it. Fleming did not create the antibiotic. And so it's very obvious. We can discuss this very beautiful topic that knowledge is never created. We credit Saraswati for this knowledge. That's why we now can see Saraswati everywhere because knowledge is already there. This human mind being limited, it has to take one step, another step, another step, another step, and slowly gain that knowledge and expand this compendium of knowledge that we have. And so every other subject falls in that category. And Vedanta is it that kind of knowledge which keeps improving, which has to be improved. Then we will say that Vedanta is not like that. It's not a subject like mathematics or physics or food or nutrition where the knowledge can keep growing, where you can produce new things. There's nothing new to be produced here in Vedanta. Everything that is produced is already there. Not solve my problem. So this Ajnana Nivritti is a different kind of subject. And the proof of this, what is the proof that Vedanta will work? Yes, I like what I'm hearing, but tell me how it's going to work. Prove to me that this will work. No proof is there. In fact, proof, the only proof is using the means of knowledge. We talked about that. We talked about how the only way to prove that my eyes will see is to open the eyes and use it and see it. And I myself can say whether I can see something or not. That is the only proof. So every pramanam is self-validating. Every pramanam is self-validating. It validates itself. It cannot be proved by somebody else, cannot prove that. So after this discussion, we spent a little time about a lifestyle, twofold lifestyle. Shastram talks about that. Pravritti marga, nivritti marga. Pravritti means the life of pursuit that we are all in would be called pravritti. The life of accomplishing things, gaining things. Dharmartha kama. A life pursuing moksha would be called nivritti marga. And then what about those of us who have to do both? We have to lead a life. We have responsibilities. We have duties. We are parents. We are students. We need to work. We need to earn a living. Yes, that is perfectly acceptable, and that needs to be done. That should be done. And at the same time, pursue moksha. Then we have a lifestyle that's called karma yoga, where the attitude of how we do things are going to be very different. And so that's karma yoga. And an exclusive pursuit of moksha would be called jnana yoga. And we spent a little bit of time talking about or giving the example of the Bhagavad Gita and how Bhagavad Gita can be considered a pramanam. A pramanam, we said, its teachings are in keeping with the Vedas. Veda Vyasa wrote it. And so what it says cannot be different from what the Vedas says. So Bhagavad Gita is a pramanam. We talked about the meaning of Bhagavan, because Ishvara will be a topic. Atma and Ishvara go hand in hand. That's the beauty of it. So we talked about Bhagavan, 6 qualities of Bhagavan. When those 6 qualities are there in limitless measure, then that entity will be called Bhagavan. And we talked about, for this particular teaching, the need for a teacher, need for a guru, attributes of a guru, attributes of a student, Shishya. We talked about all that. So in my opinion, I felt that this gives somewhat of a grounding. Vedanta means what? If somebody asks, we can say a few things. And those important essentials I wanted to cover. And typically Swamiji covers this kind of introduction before he taught the Bhagavad Gita. He covered this introduction. And so I chose to follow that same technique. Basics, Purusharthas and all very basic things. So now I feel we are all ready to take on, to study the subject of Tattvabodha. And as and when needed, we can elaborate and study this text, Tattvabodha. So next class onwards, we will start the new text, and I will send you a link or two where you can download the text if you don't have it already, especially the verses. So when we chant, you can follow the text and chant along with me or after me. There is also Swamiji's talks on Tattvabodha have been published also. So if you want, you can acquire that book from Arshavadya Gurukulam. I will send you that link, but that's not necessary. But you're welcome to purchase that book also. And when I Googled for Tattvabodha, so 2-3 weeks ago, and yeah, there are a lot of references to Tattvabodha, and a lot of people have written on this topic. A lot of acharyas have taught. So the number of resources available is quite a bit. And so I'll send you a couple of links for your benefit. And so at least we can have the source text in front of you. Some of you can read Devanagari. That'll be good. If you can't read Devanagari, then I'll try to find a text which has both Arabic and Devanagari. So with that, I'll conclude this class and open the class for questions. Yeah, Mahesh ji.
No, I have nothing.
Okay. Yeah, him. Yeah, can't hear you for some reason, even though you are unmuted. Yeah, you are. Yeah, so we can't. I can't hear you at least. Okay. Yeah, so we are unable to hear you now. Not yet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We heard some sounds here. Okay.
Okay. Now am I audible now?
Yeah. Now you're audible.
Okay. Fine. So yeah, my question was, so when one perceives, say for example, a snake superimposed on a rope, is that perception Vastu Tantram or is it Purush Tantram?
Yeah. Good question. So is that Vastu Tantram or Purusha Tantram? So see, Vastu Tantram means a truth about an object which belongs to the object. So the rope presenting itself as a rope is Vastu Tantram. And rope is presenting itself as a rope only. Everybody is seeing a rope, but I am seeing a snake. So now, so obviously the question is something here, something in my mind. Bhagavan has given me this ability to project. So this projecting Shakti, that projecting is also called a Shakti. It's called Vikshepa Shakti. Vikshepa Shakti. So it is I don't know whether to call it Purusha Tantram. It is definitely not Vastu Tantram. And yeah, it belongs to me. That Shakti belongs to me. And I can project whatever I want on anything I want. And so it belongs to me. That Vikshepa Shakti belongs to me. And see, even the projection, in fact, I can't say I can project anything on anything. I can't say that because I don't project a car on this rope. I can't. Look at how amazing this is. I project a snake on the rope. I don't project a car. I don't project a bus. I don't project my laptop on the rope because I'm staring at this laptop all day long. 18 hours I'm working. I'm an IT professional. But so I should be seeing laptops everywhere. No, I don't see a laptop everywhere. I see a snake on the rope. That's the beauty of this projection. So the projection also, there is some order in this projection. I can project things that are almost like this object. Almost like this object. So there is a beauty to that. So short answer to your question is no, it is not. It cannot be Vastu Tantra because the rope is a rope and I don't have the ability to see it as a rope. That is the only way we can see it. So there is something also called Avarana Shakti. Avarana Shakti means there is the Shakti that prevents me from seeing what is there. And once that prevention happens, then afterwards I have to project. Because if I don't see an object as it is, then immediately the mind has to make a conclusion about the object. I can either say I don't know what it is, or I will project something I know on the object. See, if I show an object like this, yesterday I saw a video about some tribes in Malaysia, and where their habitat, they literally are tribes, and they lived in this forest for centuries, and now this palm oil business has taken over, and the forests are being cleared, and these tribes are helplessly watching this happening. So if I went to them and showed them this little device and asked them, what is this? They will say what? I don't know what it is. They will say, I don't know what it is. Chances are they won't project something else on this object. So I can say, I don't know what it is, or I can project something like a snake on the rope. These are the only two possibilities. So in this case, in the case of the rope, it so happens that I project, my insecurities and all these things come, I guess it all comes together. My vasanas come together and projection happens. And so we'll cover this topic of Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti another time. Good question. Yeah, before him, somebody else had a question. Yeah. Yep. Manduji.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
one
me?
second. We can't. Yeah, I think if you come closer, we may be able to hear you.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, very good. Okay. Um, you mentioned about the knowledge, the um, two different types of knowledge, right? One is from knowing about ourselves. That's one knowledge, which is for moksha. And the second knowledge you mentioned, the knowledge that comes from books like a science. And you mentioned the knowledge from science can grow. Um, I got confused when you say knowledge can grow in science, because knowledge is there already. In science also, they only uh, reveal the knowledge, not it's like a growing knowledge, right? In science also, all the concepts are there, but one studies or explores or try to find the knowledge in science also, right? Like I'm trying to say, is there a really difference between the moksha knowledge, the knowledge from moksha, or and the knowledge from scientific uh, studies?
Yeah. Yeah. So good question. So yeah, it is true that knowledge already is. And when I said the knowledge grows, what I meant is the body of knowledge which humanity knows at this moment is so much, and a year later that is now more. So we just know more than we knew before. So I have to mute. There's some echo happening, I think. Okay. So yeah, I'm muted. So in that sense, I meant that what we know today about any particular science, any particular topic keeps growing. That's what I meant. But the actual knowledge doesn't grow. Actual knowledge doesn't grow because knowledge already is there and we are only discovering that knowledge. So I like that word discover very much. Uncovering. It is just uncovering. I'm removing all those layers of ignorance. Like let's say, I like this word, peeling the onion. So keeping on peeling. And so then that reveals to us what already is. So your observation is well taken. Uh, Knowledge already is, and just transactionally, we say that knowledge, the body of knowledge grows. Body of known knowledge, body of knowledge that humanity knows grows. And so in terms of the difference between Paravidya and Aparavidya, Paravidya being the Vidya of Atma and Aparavidya being uh, knowledge of every other object in this world. This is one of the differences. What you said is a difference. One difference, that difference is the Aparavidya always seems to grow. Always seems to grow. That's why he says seems to. Seems to grow because even though the knowledge is already there, this mind only knows so much. And that what it knows keeps on growing. Keeps on growing. And so we can say there is no finality. There is no finality in Aparavidya. Finality means what? Can any botanist say they know about so many flowers, so many plants they know, they have researched, they have categorized, they have all these Latin names, big Latin names they have given, and they have found out which habitats they survive. All this they have studied, have kept. Can the botanist say, we know everything about the rose? One flower, just take one flower, rose. A very popular flower. Everybody in the world knows what a rose is. Is everything known about the rose? If we say, very likely the scientists will say, no, we're still studying certain elements about this rose. We're trying to understand what gives this white color, why this rose is red. All this we are studying. That's what they will say. Because the botany department is also becoming bigger and bigger. It is not becoming smaller. They are hiring researchers. That shows there is so much to study just in this world of plants. So that knowledge doesn't, that's the quality of this Aparavidya. Remember, when we say knowledge grows, the knowledge to be discovered or the knowledge that has been discovered by the human mind keeps growing. The actual knowledge is there to be discovered. So without something being there, there is nothing to discover. There must be something already there to be discovered. So we have this, that is very clear for us. Okay. So I think your question is well taken. Good question, Panduji. Anybody else before we come to him? Okay, him, go ahead. I have unmuted you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question: what is the source of Avaran Shakti? Why do we not see things as they are?
Why do we not see things as they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are getting into some details right now, and yeah, again, it's a Shakti name. So when I have been, it's like saying you can ask the question, why am I ignorant about myself? Why am I ignorant about so many things in this world? If we say, well, that's the order. That's the way the order is. When light is there, darkness will be there. Like two sides of the coin. So so the body is given, and then there is something called the mind that is given, and the mind it's a wonderful organ, and it has been given so much capacity, and one of the capacities is ability to know. So when knowledge is there, ignorance is automatically there. So the human mind started off with all ignorance and slowly gathering knowledge, little by little gathering knowledge. So when ignorance is there, knowledge should be there, and the capacity to gain that knowledge should also be given. Otherwise, the creation would be called defective. Would be called defective. So both are given to me. So that Shakti to know is there. Jnana Shakti is there, right? Lalita Sahasranama. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Swarupini. So we look at Devi as the Swarupa of these three Shaktis that I have been endowed with. So we are given these Shaktis, and Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti, all these are all part of this, part of the creation. We can't put a cost to it. We can give a general cost like Maya and all that. But it's a Shakti that's given. When the ability to know something is there, the ability to make a mistake is also there. And mistakes can be made in several ways. Projection is one way to make a mistake. And I project something and I think that is what it is. So that mind is capable of doing that. So that's why we acknowledge these limitations of the mind. And in fact, we start this class with a prayer. The prayer also has the Sahana Vavatu, has some of these meanings, which says that may I understand what is being taught properly. May I not project too many things on what is being said, because the ability to project is there. So I utter a word, I want to mean something, and you have understood it something different. How often it happens? It's possible. So we ask for the prayer. The prayer says, may I not fall victim to that. Protect me from doing that. That's what it says. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Sounds good. So we will start Tattvabodha from the next class. No special preparation is needed. No special books are needed. It's a text that is written in Sanskrit. And so it goes verse by verse. In fact, sometimes it's not by verse also. The prayer is a verse, and the rest is somewhat of a prose divided into several topics. So we will chant it, and then we will understand what the author is saying. So looking forward to starting this next week. We'll finish with the prayer. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmanas Santu Nirbhayaah ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Have a nice week, all of you.